let's introduce ourselves first. Hi, we're live! We're live. In the middle of my sentence, we're live. Hello! Welcome to the Young Adult at Heart book discussion. I am Jennifer from the Midwest, a Midwestern librarian from Illinois and a librarian in Indiana, and we are reading Reflection, Denton Little's Death Date. Denton Little's Death Date. Should have practiced that. And it's by Lance Rubin, and the audiobook is also narrated by Lance Rubin, which is fabulous. So, and then who else would like to introduce themselves next?
Me. I'm Kim, and I'm a children and teen librarian in a small library in Connecticut.
Next.
Me?
Next, yes.
Okay. I'm Crystal. I am an 8th grade social studies teacher who is happily on summer vacation right now.
Boo!
Yeah,
Boo!
boo!
Hiss! Boo! Hiss! Hiss! Boo!
I understand that just as like my workload gets significantly lightened, like it's crazy for the rest of you ladies, so I apologize a little bit, but I essentially won't apologize for being on summer vacation because it's awesome. I'm an 8th grade social studies teacher at a middle school in Connecticut.
And my name is Mylene. Historically, I have audio problems, so hopefully this will fix that this time. But I am on the West Coast in California, where it's currently 4 o'clock and hot as balls. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Oh, I did already. It doesn't matter. And I'm a children's. It was just balls. Balls is not a bad word. And I'm a children's teen librarian at a 5-branch library in Santa Monica.
Sweet, and we are missing our beloved Abby, which is extra sad. Because this is her pick. This was her pick for our book discussion, but she is unable to be with us today because she has a prior engagement, but has sent us. I'm gonna after general impression, or do we? I guess I'll play her recording now. I haven't even listened to it yet, so we should.
It probably has general impressions, so
it probably does. It fits. It's on theme for this section. Let's see if I can pull it up, and if you can, so you're all going to be hearing it through my phone, which I will put next to my microphone. I'm going to hover it awkwardly near my computer.
Technology.
So. You might have to pull your headphones out, though, right? Or maybe not.
It doesn't have a speaker, so
oh, okay.
I don't think. So let's see. What does Abby have to say? You cannot hear this.
Out of panel, and he was so funny. I just knew whatever he wrote was exactly for me, and I really enjoyed it.
Can you hear it?
A lot.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
It's a movie. It's very cinematic. It has a prom scene. They really vary the lead on the sci-fi stuff. I wish that came in way earlier. And I love the best friends, and I love that there's like no gay panic about any of their relationships. They're just like that type. And the best friend character was delightful. And I miss everyone. Bye.
So I caught most of that.
And now you're going to catch it
again. Okay. So I think that Abby's comments are pretty on point as far as my feelings for the book. So general impressions, did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you want more? Were you mad about the cliffhanger? Because I was real mad about the cliffhanger.
I liked it. I remember when we got Denton Little's Death Date in the library, like we ordered it and it came in and I was like, I'll read this one day, and then like immediately shelved it and never went back for it again. But you know, I don't know, this is one of those things. And so so then when I picked the book up, like I didn't like reread the inside cover to remind myself what it was about. I just remembered that it was this one book that I ordered that one time that I was gonna read. So when I was reading it, I was like, okay, like I was immediately sort of thrown off. I don't know why. I don't think I was prepared for it to be like Distant Cat, for it to be like dystopia-esque. I don't know if that fits here.
Kim, we lost your audio. Did anybody else lose her audio? And Mylene went away. Everything is falling apart. Crystal, you're muted still.
Yeah,
Now
I
you-
can't. I still can't hear Kim.
Kim, we have no.
This is not something I'm used to. One can always hear Kim from like several houses away.
Good. We should be able to hear Kim. Kim has stuff to say, and it's important. So I support Kim's volume, but we still have no volume. So even with my support, nothing. You might want to, Kim. You might want to jump out and then jump back in. That's so sad. She's just making sad faces at us. And Myleena's got to get. It's just you and me, Crystal. Anyway, we're having a night. We're having a night of technical difficulty.
That's all right. It's early. Oh, all right. So this looks like Mylene.
Yes, I think so. Okay, good. Well, no, I'm stuck again in that picture thing. Dang it. Dang it.
We
Can you at least hear me?
Yeah, we can.
We can see and hear you.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Is Kim back?
No, she's probably. Oh, she's coming.
There she is. Yay!
Technology. We live in the future, and the future is confusing.
Wait, okay.
There's a Kim. Yay!
Yay!
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay! Okay, good.
Yay!
I don't like not being heard. It makes me cranky. And I was actually just texting someone as I was coming in here. I was like, I'm fighting with technology. And he's like, did you win? And I was like, I won. And I was really happy. And then my sound went away. And I felt like the computer had beat me again. Anyway, rewinding. I did like the book, but I wasn't ready for it to be dystopia-esque. So when it was, I was like, And then I read it, and it was cool. And then I got to the end, and I was like, the cliffhanger pissed me off because I wasn't ready for that because I was pretty sure this was like only one book because I don't recall having ever seen a sequel announced anywhere. Not that it hasn't been announced, just like I haven't seen it, and typically I see these things. So I was all confused. But I did like Denton Little, and I read this a very long time ago, so I can't remember everyone's name. And the best friend and the best friend's sister hated the girlfriend, and I was really mad about it because it was a tall girl, and they're never tall girls. They're always like short girls. It's always like some really tall, muscular guy who's like teeny girlfriend. Not that we don't love you, Crystal. But I was like, and so there was this tall girl, and then she was an asshole, and I was really freaking mad. So there that goes. I'm done now.
Mylene, Kim just trumped balls, so it's fine.
True. I give it to you. I hand it over to you as far as the word for the
I'll label this video mildly not safe for work, includes the words balls and asshole. And also but that's fair because I feel like the book is kind of not safe for work because there's so much drug use and sex. I was like, oh my goodness, these teenagers. Why is no one like what's going on here? He gave you an STD. Please go to the hospital today. Like
I never quite figured out if it really was an STD or not. I still haven't figured that out. I'm sure that's somewhere in book 2. I don't know.
I think it was a virus, no? Like it was a predetermined set for that particular death day for it to come about or something.
Yeah, well, because they had like a different strain than he did because they didn't have the dots.
Yeah.
And they didn't go like numb, obviously. But yeah, I guess we'll find out if what's the best friend's name? Is it Paolo?
Paolo.
He was delightful.
Yeah.
Want a whole book about him. Whole book. Love him. But he, the best bad idea bear ever. It really just like. I think because they had like a different strain. So I'd be interested in seeing like what happens on his death date if it does the same thing, or if it's completely fabricated that his death date is next to Denton's. Like, if it's like a red herring because do you know what I mean? Because, like, you can't believe anything the mom was saying. Like, she was terrible.
Yeah, well, and then I also wondered, so when what's the best friend's girl or sister's name? I forgot. When she
Veronica.
There it goes, Veronica. When she got the bits, I was like, oh, well, obviously that happened. But we decided that we're just going to rate this like PG-17. So that happened when they were having sex. But then the best friend got it. I was like, well, they didn't have sex, did they? Maybe I missed that. So I was like,
didn't they decide it was because of sharing, like, because of spit? Because they were sharing like a bowl or something. Drug use. There was juicy bowl sharing. really gross teenage boys in this. There was like a high threshold of gross teenage boy.
Well, I remember him joking that he like maybe rubbed the towel that he had wiped his ball sack with. I was like, that's possible. That could be the reason why you now have this crazy disease.
But at that point, it would be like public restrooms. Like that's like where you get like the STD from the public restroom toilet seat. That STD, like he is the urban myth.
Oh, man. I guess it could have been saliva, but didn't like Veronica show up on her leg first? Like, how conspicuous, you know? So I don't know. But yeah, no, I don't know. I like.
Also, then it would be ball sack behavior because his ball sack, her privates. He rubbed a towel on his ball sack. Paulo got whatever it was when he rubbed his face with his ball sack towel. I don't know. That is not a bad word, by the way.
It could be a sack of tennis balls. You don't know.
Oh, yes. So, yeah. Maybe it was just any of his body sweat.
So I'm glad that I'm not the only one that was annoyed that this obviously sets up a sequel and that you don't, like, the cliffhanger was really annoying. That was really annoying to me. And as someone that wouldn't normally know if there was another book coming out necessarily, except for the fact that that's usually printed somewhere on the book, like there's usually some kind of indication. And so that was really annoying. I was ready for it to get a little bit more tied up than it was. And I'm not someone that generally, I don't read a lot of series. I know that you, I don't know, Mylene, if you do, but I know Kim and Jen, you guys will read a series. Usually if I'm reading a book, I'm looking for it to be a little bit more, like I'm going to read and finish this book. Like I am too flighty to commit to a series. So I was like, damn it, now I have to read more of these, which is fine. Like I do want to read the next one, but I did want it to be a little bit more of a satisfying ending.
Although from a blurb standpoint, you can't really, like, the idea, like, you're really not supposed to know that he lives at this. Spoilers, I should have said that. So he totally lives at the end of the book. It is not his death date, it's all a lie. Or it is his death date, but there's all this complicated stuff. But there's lots of hand movements, apparently. But you can't, like, know that there's a sequel without, like, because the book starts so close to his death date that you can't know that there's a sequel when you're reading the first book, because it ruins, like, if you look up that second blurb, you're like, well, it doesn't die. Like it's like, for you right there. So I think, like, I guess I understand why they don't say it, but now, like, on Goodreads, if you look at the Goodreads thing, it's got, like, the little parentheses, Denton Little's death date 1 next to it. So you, like I knew, like, I looked it up on there and was like, oh, there's a second book. And so I was like, well, maybe it's the best friend story. Like, maybe we get, no? Okay, no. I was very sad at the end of it.
It's called Denton Little's Still Not Dead, as far as I can...
Is it really?
The second one, yeah. Because I was like, oh, I'm just curious, like, if I just went and Google searched it. And Denton Little #2 by Lance Rubin, Denton Little's Still Not Dead.
So we don't need to put spoilers for that plot point anywhere over this, because literally, if you had looked at the title of the second book, you got it.
A weird title.
It is.
Right.
I put this on our Tumblr page, but I totally pictured, and I was even listening to the audiobook for the most part, but I pictured this character, like, and I know it's a male character, like, not, but I pictured it as played by Mindy Kaling. Like, that is my head casting of him, because it's that same level of, like, nobody knows what they're doing as the Mindy Project, and, like, surrounded by, like, a variety act of morons. Like, that is who he's around. Like, well-intentioned and evil morons. Like, that is who, like, it reminded me of the Mindy Project. And I just pictured her, like, playing it, like, a la Matt and Ben. Like, I wanted her to be, like, in a baseball. Maybe it's also because, so, full disclosure, like, Abby did that as was it her senior portfolio? So maybe I was influenced by the person who picked the book. But that's who I pictured playing. That was my fan casting.
Oh. I respect that. I do.
That's pretty funny.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mylene, what
Did you
were
like
your
it?
first impressions?
So I finished it today. So the thing that is like totally just in my head is, okay, backstory. I love Bone Thugs and Harmony. So the fact that he and Paolo have a Bone Thugs and Harmony like song that relates to their death, and like then they have a dance to it. If I didn't like the book already, like I loved it because of that moment. And so you
Someone
couldn't
needs-
convince me.
Like, we need two people to write that dance number. Like, I need to see that. Like, that.
Like it was like robot chops and like air hand movements, and I was like, I don't care. First of all, he's purple. He's purple doing this, and then like he's almost like not losing. He loses feeling in his legs. I just thought this is an amazing scene. I can see it happening. It's all unfolding before my eyes. But beyond that point, though, like same points you guys have. Taryn, the girlfriend. What is that? Oh, I have to make sure that Phil's okay. Fuck that. Oh. You broke it up with this guy. He comes to the house and tries to kill the guy. Spoiler. Not spoiler. Who cares? What is that about? But to be fair, like he also, I mean, he meaning Denton. What's up with that? Like, why can't he just tell her, hey, I'm gonna die tomorrow, and I kind of just cheated on you, and like it's not okay, but I did it. Those are probably the parts that I didn't like.
As a character, it takes him a long time to like rev up to like, this is the end of my life. I need to get shit done. And I was super frustrated with him. I was like, your mom needs to stop. Like, like just your mom just you're done. Like, I would have been I have a very different relationship with my parents than he has with his parents. But I would have just been like, nope, I'm dying today. I am not. None of this is happening. But yeah, I would deal with it worse than he did in a lot of ways, I think. But as a character, I didn't find Taryn. Is it Taryn? Very likable. But she was such an interesting teenage character that she was like a drama kid, and like it was clear to me at least that she was with him because of the drama. Like she wanted to.
Yeah.
The girl whose boyfriend died, and she wanted to be, and that's why she was like engaging with the jerk who smelled like tuna. Like he was so, and he had like he was wearing like a fedora at one point. So I was like, who is this like, tuna smelling man child, and what are you doing with your life, Taryn? Please don't date him again. Like, bleh. Like there was a lot of like gross. But I thought that she was an interesting character, but I felt like she wasn't super well, like I think the best developed characters were the two siblings, and then Denton, and then actually the mother, like the stepmother. I thought that she was really fully fleshed, like that she had like a lot of like, you kind of got where she was coming from. But I thought that Taryn was kind of weak, and I thought that the dad was really weak as a character. I didn't like, although it might also be like that also may have been because of his relationship to Denton, because how do you fully engage with the child that you know that's going to die before they become an adult? I think that actually could have been really interesting to like get into, is this why you're not really sinking in with your son? But they just like kind of didn't. It just like moved on to like surprise spoilers, super spoilers, like surprise mom is alive at the end, and I was like, who? What? Where is you? What is you doing? How did you get there? Like what?
Yeah.
So it was never talked about why he was so angry at that Brian Bloom character. Like, okay, Brian Bloom was the OBGYN, was there when she gave birth to him, and then the only time it's kind of talked about, he says, we're not okay with what you did. And I was like, what happened? And that was never explained. I was just like, why would he know so much? And yet we are told so little. And at that point I was like, fuck, there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah, figuring out that there was going to be a sequel. I think it was when the Facebook messages started coming in for like, what was it, for like penile enlargements and stuff like that.
Yes,
happy
dinosaur.
Yeah, I was like, something big's about to go down, and I do wish that there had been more development with him and with the dad. But I'm gonna tell the dad, I could kind of understand, because like, not only did he know, that his son was gonna die before he fully reached adulthood, but he also knew that his son, or like child, I can't remember if they knew it was going to be a boy, was going to be responsible for his wife's death. Like, so I mean, like, that's a lot of like hard stuff to overcome. But the one character that I wish was developed, and I can't figure out why they wouldn't do it, except I'm sure they're going to do it more in the second book, was the brother, the older brother. Yeah. So I was like, so reading that, like, I can relate to that type of situation on a very personal level, just because, like, I'm 13 years older than my youngest sibling. Like, my sister, she is 16. I don't know what to do with her. Like, I have no clue. I'm like, and we're very different kinds of 16. Like, I was a 16-year-old who was, like, reading in corners, like, secretly still wanting and, like, obsessed with fan fiction. Like, that was it. Like, there was no more to me. Like, that was all there was. And, she's going to parties and worrying about hair and makeup and blah, 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 and this and boys. And I'm like, I can't even relate to you. So I could kind of understand that, but I still feel like the brother just wasn't developed at all. Like, he just showed up and was there and did a couple cool things, like when he stopped the guy from shooting him, came out in all the football gear. I thought that was kind of cool. And then I think he did something else. And then they had some sort of like small, Mylene, did she go away?
What happened?
Oh, no.
I can hear you.
I can hear you, but I can't see. Well, because actually,
it's just a quote.
Mylene, I was going to ask you about that, because you read this recently, because it's the brother at the end in the hospital reveals that he knows like more than he's been letting on, right?
Yeah.
Right.
He clearly knows the mom was alive. He knew. I don't know how.
And so he's definitely going to play a much larger role, and then like they set him up to play a much larger role in the sequel. And you're right, because but that's got to be a hard dynamic too. Like, of course he was distant, because if it's coming forward that he knew all of this and he had to keep all of this from him for his own safety, or because the government was after him, or whatever the story is going to be, then of course, like, he doesn't ever want to get too close to him, because he knows too much. So that's probably why we didn't see a lot of the brother in this book, but why I think we probably will in the next one.
Oh. See, and I just did not, for the life of me, understand why nobody was telling this kid what was up. The guy gets dissuaded really quickly from the doctor, the OBGYN gets dissuaded really quickly from, like, talking to him in person. They're, like, the cryptic, it killed me that he was not getting that those cryptic Facebook messages were all from the same thing. I was like, kid, have you never read a Nancy Drew book? Like, this is, please, put it together. Just like A and B, it's not a duck, it is, like, it was very frustrating. But I didn't get, like, why wouldn't you tell the older brother at least, like, a couple things to be like, hey, this is who you need to talk to, this person, or, like, push him more? Like, they just, like, kind of left him in the lurch. And the fact that the dad didn't give him that letter until, like, well into his death date, I was ready to kill the dad. I was like, what? That is, like, his letter from his mom. And you were like, oh, I forgot. Like, no. No, you are a bad father. Bad. Like, I was so mad. So, I mean, it's good. I had a lot of feelings while I was reading this book. So, even if they were frustrated, get your stuff together feelings, they were feelings.
Yeah, I'll say that was maybe the one thing that sort of got me a little bit, where, and I don't like when books do this, when they're like, it seems like they're trying to make you more involved, but in a way that they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, with, like, the secret Facebook messages, and the doctor that's, like, showing up and taking him for secret rides in the car, and then, like, the cop that's following you, and, like, and I think it was just, I don't know, I wish it had been, like, a little bit more subtle, like, because, like, it was all just, like, right in your face, and it was like, pay attention to this, and then pay attention to this, and then watch this, and watch this, and I was like, please stop forcing me to enjoy your book. Like, I'm already enjoying the book, like, You know, things are already, the characters for the most part are witty and funny, and just something about, and I think it was at the end, it all felt like we're not even been like the last third. Like it was all just like you were bombarded and you were like rushed and you were like shoved here and shoved there, and I don't know, I was just kind of like, let's relax. Like let's go through the book. I don't know.
The beginning was so slow, like the build of all the characters, and you got to spend time with each of them, and that's like you don't even really get into the fact that it is like this weird dystopian future that they're living in, because it's not so much like he knows that he's aware of his own mortality incoming, and he has like special stuff because of that. But there's like it's so slow, and it felt like just like a normal like teenage book.
Yep.
For like so much of like I'm gonna say like 2/3 of it, like until and then it was very fast and very, very compressed at the end. I also, so Horrible Grandpa Cop was, I think, a really cool character. I really enjoyed him. But I was really mad that they shortened it to Horrible Cop, because I wanted it to be Horrible Grandpa Cop every time, because that's such a good character name. And I was just like, every time, like in my head, because I was listening to it at the end, and so I was in my head, I was just like, Horrible Grandpa Cop. You mean Horrible Grandpa Cop? Like, every time, because that full name is just so good. Like,
how dare you shorten it? Yeah, I really liked him as a character. Like, I felt like the Grandpa Cop, like there wasn't a whole lot there. Like you didn't know anything about him, but the stuff that they fed you about him and like his actions were enough to like make him a well-defined character, more so than this brother. And like I don't know why that bothered me so much, but it really did. And the thing is, like, yeah, like he is, like what Chris was saying, he is set up to be a bigger part of, theoretically, of the second book, because like it felt like he knew everything. Like he was the only one who just like knew it all. Like I feel like he may have even known more than the dad did. Like brother just knew. How he knew, who knows? I'm sure we're gonna find out in the second book. But as far as like creating him as a character and developing him as a character, like I really don't feel like that was done a whole lot. And I feel like even Grandpa Cop was more, I felt more, like when Grandpa Cop was around, I was like, oh, something's about to go down. When Brother showed up, I was like, hi, and I just like went on about my day. I don't know. It bothered me.
Is it because casting-wise, horrible Grandpa Cop would have been like an older character actor of substance, whereas older brother would have been like some tweeny bop guy? Like yeah. I feel like they would have just been like, Channing Tatum will play older brother, but like Horrible Grandpa Cop would be like Gregory Peck, and you'd be like, yes, like that's like, but like even just how it was written, like there was so much flavor to the dialogue that the Horrible Grandpa Cop was given, as opposed to the brother, who was just kind of like, I mysteriously know more, shuffle, 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 tackle, like it, yeah. Although he really came through for him in the end, towards the end of the book, and I was very pleased with that.
Yeah.
Give the kid a burner cell phone, though, man. Give him a burner cell phone. Why are you not, like, go to the kiosk in the mall a little bit ahead of time with your fake ID from high school and buy yourself, like, did no one read the Nancy Drew books? Like, I'm just really disappointed in how they handle themselves.
Did Nancy Drew have burner phones?
Modern Nancy Drew would have. Like, just like Harriet the Spy, if she was a kid today, would totally be like, I have 17 different Facebook accounts and I'm stalking everybody. Like, you don't know, but I'm that grandma with the kitten photos. Like, that's me. Like,
she wouldn't be Harriet the Spy. She'd be Harriet the Facebook stalker, and it wouldn't be nearly as interesting.
It would be amazing. Someone write that book. Someone write that book.
So to completely change the subject, I think I'm very interested in this world that exists where death dates are a thing. Like, I think that that concept to me was really interesting. And I love, they set it up and there's that whole department and there are these rituals that surround it. And I am interested in reading an adult book that's more dystopian in nature, that settles, like, that is more around the seriousness of this, and that kind of maybe grapples more with those relationships. Because I do feel like a lot of this was, you know, the drama that you find in your everyday high school with who's sleeping with who and who's smoking what, and like kind of that stereotypical like high school setting. I would be interested in reading a adult book that centers around the concept of knowing your death date and kind of dealing with that and how that shifts family dynamics and how does a parent deal with a child and that kind of stuff, because that's the kind of depressing shit that I like to read, because I do. So I think that would be...
And how would that influence, like, if you married somebody? Like you go out on a first date with somebody, or, like, is that in your dating profile? Are you like, death date is when I'm 70? Like, we'll be together for years. Or, like, death date's when I'm 32. Like, what, like, how would that, yeah. I thought it was really, like, how would that, I was being a total nerd and being like, how would that influence financial aid for college? Because your financial, no, because, like, your financial aid, that's one of the only, like, debts that's, like, legit forgiven if you can prove death, because nobody's benefiting from that knowledge anymore, and so that debt goes away. But, like, do you, like, how does that change the FAFSA is really what I'm interested in.
I wonder if they give you a lower interest rate, like, if you died sooner, you know, so you could, like, pay it off faster? I feel like maybe.
Or this is not the book I want to read. This is not the book I want to read.
No, you don't want to. You don't want to just, like, a line by line of, like, their tax forms and, like, how.
No, but, you know, I get you, Crystal, because, okay, look, so I'm going to compare what you said to another book that we'll see if I can make it work as I'm talking it out, because, like, maybe not. But so I remember the only Jodi Picoult book I ever read was My Sister's Keeper. And so, like, the book, unlike the movie, and this might be all Jodi Picoult books, I don't know, I don't really read them, is it, like, really delves into, like, how every family member is affected, like, when they're pretty sure that there's this girl who's going to die. Like, they're like, she's probably not going to make it. So, especially once, like, the whole, like, you know, drama starts up in the book when the little girl's like, stop taking all my organs. So I have no idea if you guys know anything about this book. But so there's, like, the older sister has cancer. So they have another kid hoping that they can, like, harvest that kid's organs to, like, and, like, stuff to, like, keep the other kid alive. And that's exactly what they do. And the younger kid's like, you got to stop. And they're like, but your sister's going to die. And she's like, but you got to stop. And then there's, like, all this drama, but, like, around all of the drama, which I guess would be the equivalent of, like, Denton Little's death date, there's, you know, like, some serious family analysis, like, you know, what's happening, like, the parents' relationship is kind of, like, a hot mess, and, like, the brother's, like, going out and selling drugs because he doesn't know what else to do, and so, I don't know, maybe that's the book you want to read. Go read Jodi Picoult. Maybe that's what you're looking for.
Or there's another teen book called Unwind, where, like, where kids aren't considered people, and they can be unwound, like, and just basically used as, like, little organ harvesting plant things. Crazy. So, like, it's like a dark, gritty, you're not a real person, which doesn't. Yeah, I felt like the death date idea was super unique. Like, it was a really interesting, like, how would this change, like, specifically, like, American, like, culture, because it doesn't really talk about, but doesn't he mention in the book that other countries were like, no, you don't have to get that testing because it'll change too much stuff.
Yeah.
But America was like, we can make money off of this. Yes. Like, yeah.
And then there was, like, the quirky friend who didn't. What was, like, the undated?
Do you mean Luna Lovegood? Do you mean Luna Lovegood?
That's exactly what I was going to say. The Luna Lovegood of this group. Oh, thank God.
I thought it
Not
too.
just me.
Oh, man. Oh, when she first showed up, I was like, oh, snap. Someone, like, teleported Luna Lovegood into this book. Like, to a T.
Yeah.
JK needs to read this book, and I would like to know her opinions. JK, what do you think of this quirky girl who doesn't know when she's going to die? Please tell me.
She was really interesting. Yeah, and it was cool to have her as like an outlier. Like, nope, don't know when I'm gonna die. Woohoo! Like, yeah.
Well, and they
But
asked
also-
her too, right? Then they asked her like, they're like, how does it feel to not know, or like everything? They asked her something, and she was like, this is the only life I've ever known. Like, I'm fine.
Right.
How are you? Which was cool.
The Nargles. Like,
Well, she was also the point of, like, going back to your point earlier, Kim. I think that the reason why the last third was so rushed is because obviously none of the characters were getting like the subtleties of the things going on, and so they had to be like, here it is, here it is, here it is. And poor Luna Lovegood was like, hey, by the way, you're all purple now. Like, nobody was mentioning that. You know, like, she's stating the obvious that no one is quite understanding. And so I feel like her character was kind of a plot mover in the sense like, oh, you should probably do something. I think she was mad. Like, obviously, you know, I don't know. It was great to have her, I thought. I don't know.
You're purple. You should maybe tell somebody. Goodbye.
amazing.
You're exactly right.
Like, at the sitting, everyone was so concerned with their own stuff, like the drama that was going on, that she's like, oh, Denton, things are your face. And he's like, whoa, what happened? You're like, you know, I think he described it, the line was like where his mustache would be like, homie, your face is purple. Nobody's even mentioned that. Like, this is not normal. Not normal at all. Poor
And
girl.
how it was Veronica, right? How Veronica just like busts out in a hoodie and just like walks home. Like how she's just like, no. And I was that teenager, so I loved her. Like I thought that she was like great. And they were like, but how are you? What are you? And she was like, nope, I'm walking home. Like she was like, this was too much, could not deal, like leaving. Like I wanted more with her, more of that family.
Me too. Yeah, well, up until the end when you realize the mom was a jerk face. But
The jerk faciest.
I like for real though. But then you know what, I'm a little and like snaps to who wrote this? Lance Rubin, because I didn't see that coming for a while. And typically I think like when you're a reader, like you can kind of, you know, like you're like, I can kind of figure some stuff out. You might not figure it all out, but you can like, get there.
Were you tricked by the red herring? Were you like, oh, she totally has a crush on the dad, it's fine. Like that was a red herring.
You know what? It wasn't. That was really weird. But like that didn't. I think it was Grandpa Cop. So I was like, he's clearly the villain of this story, and then like Sneaky Doctor comes in, and I'm like, okay, like, so I'm.
Which I was like, please, child, please don't get in the car with him. Please don't get in the car with him. Like I was very concerned when that was happening.
Don't you watch TV? Like, don't you watch the news? People kill people. So you know, like.
You are CSI right now.
Right. So like. You know, a lot of my attention was focused on what they were doing. Like, not that I necessarily, like, knew which one was, like, the bad guy, but, like, they held my attention. I wasn't tripping on Mom. Like, I thought it was kind of weird that she had those photos, you know, and then she explained those away. And I thought it was really weird that she'd circled his death date on her calendar. I thought she was his mom. That's what I thought. So I don't know why.
Okay, but he was like the king of bad theories. Like, he was so bad. And every single theory, he was just like, you're my mom, and we're siblings, and it's Game of Thrones in here. Everyone's making out with all their relatives. Like, he was like, incest palooza, that is my dominant theory, and I'm not letting it go. Like, incest palooza.
Yeah.
But in that way, he was that. But in that way, he was a teenage boy. Like, he was being a teenage boy. He's like, no, this is the thing I think, and I am going to, like, hold on to these convictions, and it is all I know, and it is all I will refuse to believe anybody else. And that was, you know, having to remember that he's, how old, 17?
Yeah, something like that. We'll go with 17.
You know, so, there's that.
Well, yeah,
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I thought that she was his mom before he thought she was his mom. for that when his death date was also circled on her calendar, it was my first thought. I don't know why. It's because I went through this like spiel where I watched a whole lot of Lifetime for like 6 years, and I think like it's really hard to let it go. Like I haven't watched Lifetime in like 10 years, but like like it stays with you. So when his death date, and I was like, why would she do that? She circled her son's death date. That makes sense. Oh no, like he's a son too. And then like I went off on that tangent before he did. And then so like by the time he went off on that tangent, I was like, oh, I feel like that would cross a line. I don't feel like we would do that. That can't be what's going on.
I was immediate. There was so much there. No, I don't think any of the sex was casual in this book. I think that the sex was definitely like it was. There were he had multiple partners, but neither of those and was blackout drunk. Oh, can we talk about the weird consent things for this? Where I was like, who can consent to what in this? Because everybody is too drunk to live. Like I can't. I was really distressed by that whole thing. But anyway, like I was like I don't think that our friend Lance Rubin is doing like a flowers in the attic kind of thing. I don't think everybody is secret sex siblings. Like I don't think that's where this is going. So like immediately that's why I was like, no, that can't be true. That can't be true. Like I would have been shocked if it was true at the end. So that would have also been a good twist. So
I mean, it would have only made sense if the dad still wasn't alive, right? Like, sure, the mom quote unquote died when she gave birth to him, but the dad was always the one who knew what was going on. Like, what? No, and that made no sense to me whatsoever. I was like, this can't be it. He's obviously having a hormonal jump. Okay, let's get past this chapter.
Well, yeah, like the farther the book progressed, because it was really early that they mentioned the calendar thing. So, so the farther the book progressed, then you're like, no, that can't be right. But
are you just like only moms circle things on calendars?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Like a calendar, like that's the thing you do. Like my kids have a lot of crap to do. Let me write all this shit on the calendar. Like that's how. So I was like, oh no. But then, the farther and then of course when he started having ridiculous thoughts about it, I was like, no, like this doesn't seem right. No, his mom definitely had him because that's why she died. So never mind. So then I like erased that from the board.
I loved the doctor's response to that. He was like, no, like I saw you come out of her, like where like that happened. So no, like. Not that, like, the kid, like, that was
that gesture, Jen, never needs to happen again.
It's like that amazing Margaret. Have you seen that Margaret show? Like, it's just like, it's amazing. I'll send it to you. Not appropriate. This is officially labeled not safe for work. Like, this whole video is like.
Backtracking to your consent thing, so yes. All the sex was weird, but I'm gonna tell you what weirded me out the most is that I think it really felt like it was the mom's fault that Denton and Veronica had sex in the first place. And then like when he called her out on it, which I believe he did, she like didn't even care. She was like, well, I had to make you stay, and if this is what happens, what happened.
And she straight up like roofie culotta'd him. She was like, take the supplements and like.
That got me more so than anything. I mean, like, the scene between Denton and girlfriend, like, that was, like, super awkward. But, like, I was still so skeeved out from Mom that I was like, but Mom, like, you know better. Like, you're a freaking adult. Like, kids are going to do dumb shit like that. Like, they're gonna, and we're not going to encourage it, but they're gonna. You know better. So I was really frustrated with that. Oh, my God. I'm not over it.
She was, like, the cool mom character that was, like, I thought that was a little much, but I feel like it was a smart character trait on her part to be like, because it was all about her job. Like none of it was like, she liked Denton, but it was like straight up about her work, and so she was gonna do whatever to get into that. And so like her entire parenting structure for her kids actually was revolving around her needing to like entrap this other child, which was like I was like, this character is dark. This character is like real bad bunny. Not a fan.
I could have done with a lot less sex in this book in general. I guess it was necessary because you think that maybe this purple thing is some kind of weird STD. I guess that's where it becomes a necessity, but I don't know. I think that it could have been just fine without
Well,
all of the sex.
he's so focused on cashing his V card before he dies. Like, sorry, like, is that not? That's probably not what the kids call it now, but that is absolutely what we called it back in the day. So,
Wait, your V card was worth something?
yeah, no, you cash it. You cash it. Very little.
Just kidding.
But
I'm just kidding.
you can inquire with Morgan about that. But the like how. Like I understood like where that came from because he was so focused on that like as like a thing to do before he died that like the desire to get that over with and then be like can we do it again? Nope, you're turning purple. Never mind. Like I thought that I loved like how that and that, I think that really kind of like showed exactly where their relationship was and where she was like no I didn't but it's fine like I'm done like we're good now like you can leave like I did my duty as a girlfriend but I think there was I thought that I didn't like the fact that he didn't remember having sex in the beginning. I think that was like as an adult though. I was like, oh, like no, this is not. Like this makes me anxious as a grown up. Like I'm not a fan of them having to go through that. And then both being kind of like not casual about it, but he was very casual about it. Like he was annoyed that he didn't remember and like she was annoyed that he didn't remember, but like nobody was like, well then should we have had sex? Like and the answer to that was no. Like, I was very quickly distracted by the fact that he threw up on her bed, and instead of doing something with the vomit sheets, like chucked them in the closet. And she never brings that up. She's never like, so
she
like
does.
that whole, well, does she?
Yeah, she did. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I
But
can't
by the way,
remember.
did you throw up on my bed?
Yeah, she did. And he's like, no.
But the one where he threw like no, but not with like the vomit on the bed. But then he also threw up in the closet, like on the pillow, and threw it in the closet. So there was like secret surprise vomit still in the room. Like I was very stressed out by that. Yeah, so it was like vomit.
Man.
Well, to that point also about the whole sex thing with the V card, when they went to Taryn's house, the parents knew exactly what they were doing. Like, let's just, we're just going to leave you downstairs in the basement doing what you need to do with your whatever you need to do down there, wink, wink, door closed and everything. I was like, the parents in this book were just either non-existent or over the top. And then, of course, there's a scary mom one. But
like, would that change as a parent if you know that your daughter's been dating somebody and he's going to die tomorrow? Would you be like, all right, like, we bought you condoms. Like, we know that this is happening. Let it happen in our basement.
Yeah, and I do that. I don't know. I would like to think that there was that much thought put into the parent characters, that it's this idea that knowing when someone is going to die would, I think, change your parenting style. Although they kind of address that with the, oh, well, you know when you're going to die, but you could put yourself into a coma, and you could be in a coma for the rest of your, like, if you could still do something stupid and like essentially not really die, but it would be very unpleasant. But I don't know if that does change kind of the way parents operate, just because, what Jen said, and also knowing that it's not going to, I don't know.
I don't know. I have to. Well, I think that there are very real parents like that. Like, be it right or wrong, my parents definitely weren't like that. But the parents who were like, if you're gonna do something, do it responsibly, and I'd rather know about it, and I'd rather hear if it's something you can do here so that it's not something done somewhere bad. Like, in relation to like multiple things. That doesn't necessarily make it okay. Like, that's like a parenting style kind of thing. Like, I didn't grow up in that world, but I knew a lot of people who did. Like, I was friends with a lot of people who were like, you're going to do what you're going to do. I'm just going to try to help you do it in a way that's not going to give me nightmares at night. And I always thought that was weird, but I mean, because her parents weren't really prevalent in the book, like they weren't really there. Like they were just kind of there for that one scene, like that was it. You know, when they were in the house, that's what I assumed was happening. Like it was kind of weird. I was like, her parents not, it's gonna, and that's kind of how I took it.
I think more, and I don't know if like my parents were definitely, let's see, and like not, my parents were kind of split, but my parents definitely aired more towards the if you're gonna do it, be safe and like be here, because like I don't want you having to drive home after drinking, kind of like they'd rather we were at someone's house even if they knew the drinking was going to happen there. So and I like, I don't know, like it was but I'm wondering if the panic that is more because it's about kids having sex than if it's because I didn't have like, I was like, I got like the drug use thing, like that didn't give me pause. Like I was a little like, there was he smoked a lot of weed in this. Everyone smoked a lot of weed, but that absolutely did not trigger my sense. So it's definitely like sex makes us so uncomfortable. So it was really interesting to like see how that affected me, I thought.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
This made me think of a thing on Tumblr. So because of I'm going to read it to you. I'm sorry, but so it's a blog called Please Write This Book on Tumblr, which is mine also, like not being like, so, and I'll do like writing prompts or like story germ ideas, and I'll just throw them all up there because I was having so many of them, and I'm a Tumblr nerd, it's fine. But so people write like, it's like microfiction, and I'm just like, no, I need the whole book, and so that's why it goes on that blog. But so you see, said the royal advisor, wringing his hands, the curse states that the princess will die on the night before her 25th birthday. Hang on, said the princess. On the night before? The advisor nodded grimly. So what you're saying is that until that one specific date, I am effectively immortal. Technically, yes, but then the king stammered, wow, said the princess, who was 16 and did not possess amazing impulse control. I'm going to go teach myself how to juggle chainsaws while hang gliding over shark-infested waters. Catch you chuckleheads later.
Yes.
And I was like, yes, whole book about that princess. That's what I would like.
That's awesome. I'd read that. I'd write that if I was a better writer.
I would like the picture book version of that too. I think I'd like that to move quickly, like a montage. Like I'd like to see like each of those things happen, and like very like beautiful, colorful pages. Like I think that's what I would like of that story.
I feel like there's a picture book about a princess that drives a motorcycle called, I feel like it's Princess Sassy Pants or something. I will find it. She's pretty great. Like, I remember thinking she was pretty great when I was like 6. I don't know if it holds up to rereading, but you know.
That's awesome. Well, I know there's like Princess Knight, about the princess who wants to be a knight, and there's another book about a princess who wants to be a knight, and she asks for this mighty steed, and she gets this like little like pathetic horse that like
I have it. It's The Princess and the Pony, and it's on my bookshelf right now because my friend is getting it as a baby shower present.
That book. She's like, she wants a mighty steed, and she gets this like little rinky-dink horse, and she's like, no! It's the most amazing thing ever. Yay! Come back, Jen. I love that book. I bought it from my library for purely selfish reasons. It has nothing to do with the children. Yay! Yeah, that's it! I love that book.
And it's about a princess who gets a short, very flatulent pony.
Yeah! She's a mighty steed. Thank you for having that, because I couldn't remember what it's called. Isn't she sassy with her little...
She's amazing. The whole thing is amazing.
It is. All right, cool. So we're going to write that book.
Yeah.
Done. And by we, I mean Crystal.
What?
Just because I'm the only one on summer break does not mean that I have time to write a book.
Oh man. So are you guys all going to read the sequel? Was it good enough that you need to know what happens next?
Yes, I will. I'll commit to that.
Okay.
I will. Yeah.
I probably will too. I do want to know what happens next. That I want to
Wait,
know
what
what happens next when the seeking, because I was looking and I did the ebook version, and I was looking, and on there it says, "Don't miss Denton Little's birth date coming spring 2016," and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the sequel. And then I looked up Denton Little's birth date, and it came up Denton Little Still Not Dead. So they must have changed the title, and it's not going to come out until 2017 now. So
So there was Abby actually had really interesting stuff where she had gone to a panel discussion, I think, with authors, and this was one of the authors because Lance Rubin does audiobooks, like that's, and so he wrote this partially to like have something to perform. So if you guys get the chance, the narration was fabulous.
Good. Yes,
it was
I
so good. Like his timing is excellent, and I think that like it was a solid audiobook, and he's a really talented performer. But it also felt like it was a screenplay. Like this felt like something that should have been, or like a miniseries. Like it felt like something that needed to be filmed. I think mostly because of the dance sequence, honestly. I feel like we should try and convince the WestCon Theater Banquet kids to like choreograph the dance, and because I'm sure there are 2 kids that can play Denton and Paolo. Like I'm sure that they can, and then do the rest of the whole scene.
So they have to wear those like full body suits where like one of them is half purple. Yeah. And the other one is like kind of just splotchy. Like it'll be like one of those.
Someone will have like a bruise wheel, and they'll just like put it on. I think the powder blue suit will be harder to come by, honestly.
Nah, all the costumes they have there, I'm sure I've probably seen a powder blue suit somewhere in that costume shop, and I'm sure it's still there next to those overalls I wanted to steal but never did.
I'm sorry, your overall-less.
Yeah, I'm a little mad about it.
The only way I would hate. Oh, go ahead.
I think I will. I'll also probably read this at some point. I'll pick it up.
The only way I would hate it as a sequel is the most recent series that I committed to that I hated and like hated myself for, the James Dashner books, where it was.
Which one?
Okay, the first one, Maze Runner, awesome. Everything after Maze Runner was a waste of my time. So
you mean the books or the series? He's got another series.
Oh, well, I always wanted it to be some kind of tie-in or tie-up, and it never was. It kept introducing characters that had inconsequential to the story, and I just thought, similar to like the last maybe 20 pages of the book this time around, I thought it could end right here. Like right here, and you don't know if he's dead, but you just assume that he is because now he's paralyzed, and you just don't know. You just let it go. The very beginning of Maze Runner, the very end of Maze Runner, like it was perfect until that last 5 pages. I'm like, no, they're gonna put more, no, and then committing to the rest of those books, it was terrible.
So are we concerned that there's going to be a 3rd book? Is that what the problem is? That we're just going to be like,
potentially.
No.
Yes, potentially.
Lance Rubin, no.
Well, yeah, I think Lance Rubin, and you know what, and that's really interesting. So I actually like when I was reading, actually I didn't read them, my audio. As the audiobooks for Maze Runner are off the chain. Like, they're so good. For his Maze Runner series and his other, this is why I asked about that, he's got another trilogy called Mortality Doctrine, and he's got those yet. We own them, but I haven't read them yet. That's James Dashner's thing. Who else does that? Barry Lyga does that. And I tweet them about this often, like when I'm reading their books. They're like, have the book, and you're like reading, done. Like it's over, and you're like, skirt, what? Like, excuse me,
what just happened? Nothing. Nothing just happened.
They cliffhangered you. That's what they did. They were like, I'm gonna stop here, and you're gonna have to wait for it. And that's what I think. That's exactly what Lance Rubin did, because like the book could have ended anywhere. The book could have ended with him waking up in the hospital and like his eyes popping open, and the book could have been done. I think that actually would have been kind of cool. But instead, he like breaks out of the hospital, makes his way to New York from wherever he was. I can't remember where he was initially, and opens the door, and his mom's standing there, and then the book's over, and you're like, okay, like, I see what you've done here. And James Ashton is the same the same thing. It's like, the kids and blah, 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 and they're this, and you're like, woo! And then you're reading and you're like, oh, and then it's just over, and then that's it. And you're like, damn it, Dashner. And I did tweet both of them very often. Very actually tweeted me back. It was great.
That's cool.
I know. It was great. Kitty.
Yes.
Yep.
I know we're a little over. Do you want me to introduce the next book since we actually have it picked?
Yeah, please.
All right. And I'm gonna give you guys a baseline spiel on this. I will keep it brief, I promise. So our next book is Red Queen. Woo! Victoria Aveyard. We'll find out. Okay. And essentially, this book is my summer reading book. We're starting a new summer reading program that we're, I guess, testing out this year at the middle school, where teachers are essentially sponsoring books. So we got to pick whatever book we wanted as staff, and we could either do a book, our own book, or you could partner with another teacher and do a book. And so actually my friend at work, Allison, approached me about this book. She said, hey, this is a book I really want to read. Do you want to read it with me? And I said, fine. So we're going to be doing this book together. And so essentially any of the students that chose to read this book will kind of work with us in the fall. We'll do some kind of activity or discussion or something around this book. There's a lot of, that's pretty open-ended. We're allowed to kind of do what we want to. And the premise of this is to try and get kids actually reading. And so our library media specialist wrapped a whole bunch of books, put the teachers' pictures on the outside covers, and put question marks all around it, and every day would put out one-word clues to what the books were. So there were 24 books wrapped on a display in the media center. And they would come in, the kids would come in, and they would look, because that's one of the places they can go in the morning, and they would look, and they'd try and figure out, there was a box for guesses, and they'd try and figure out what the different titles of the different books was. So they built a lot of intrigue. And then we recorded a video where we did the big reveal as to what all the books were, and at that point, I wasn't there because they did it in ELA classes, but I guess the kids, if they knew what they were cheering, if they knew what the book was, and they were really excited. And part of this is also to try and get those kids that may have a relationship with a specific teacher but may not be inclined to ever pick up a book to hopefully pick up that book. So, okay, I don't...
That's awesome. That is such a cool program. I really hope that, after you're done with this, you write something up. You guys are planning on doing some kind of write-up and sharing that with
School library
other schools,
journal.
because that is so cool.
Yeah, so I'll let you guys know how it all pans out, but I really like it. It was also to try and show our students that not just English teachers read. Your PE teachers read, and your music teachers read, and your math teachers read. Everybody reads. So
Did everybody pick different genres, too?
Yeah. And a lot of teachers chose genres that aligned with their subject matters. I know the math teachers were kind of getting together and trying to find a mathy, puzzly kind of book. And science teachers did science-y kind of books. And some teachers, it was completely outside of their genre. But yeah, we tried to pick different genres of books as well. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see how it's going to go. And I'm actually going to, like I talked to you guys about, I'm going to ask Allison if maybe she wants to come and talk with us about this book when we talk about it. But yeah, yay! Thank you for indulging this.
Fabulous.
Yay!
That's super awesome. Yay! And so thank you. Thank you. Are there any closing remarks? Thank you for joining us.
Go library.
As we discussed the Denton Littles, the Deathdate. Maybe after it comes out, since Abby missed this discussion, we could do the sequel book. If we're all going to read it anyway, that would be kind of cool to do, maybe next year at some point. Because we're doing this for years and years at this point. Yeah. I like it.
It'll work.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.